Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to the very first episode of The Mate and the Bait. The show where we talk about games and movies and politics and stuff. I am your host, Jack Holt, I'm the bait, and this is Caleb Ness, who is my mate.
Hi, I'm the bait for today.
Yeah, so, I'm the bait, you're the mate, I'm the bait.
Oh, I'm the mate?
Yeah, because I'm the bait, right, and everything goes, the fish takes the bait, right, and they come to the bait, and so I'm the bait, and you're the mate, and so you come to the podcast, and I'm the bait that gets you to the podcast.
So I'm a fish?
Yeah, you're a fish.
Awesome!
You're a fish, mate. Bloody fish. It's great. Alright.
I like being a fish.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, that's good. So, let's get started with the news. So, for those of you who have never watched our show before, which you probably never have because this is actually our first episode, but for those of you who've never seen this before, what we're going to do, we're going to go through some of the latest games and movies and politics and stuff and talk about them and give our opinions because we're very well educated and we know exactly what we're talking about on everything we say. So you should believe us because everything we say is true. Alright, well, what's our first topic?
What are you doing?
I'm trying to fix my railgun. Give me a sec. Sorry, there it is. Anyway, so, for our first category, it's going to be games today. So, Ness,
Yeah?
what are some of the games that are out today that are like new and big and stuff?
They're new and big.
Yeah.
Fallout 4 came out.
Fallout. Oh yeah, I heard about it. I haven't actually had a chance to play Fallout yet. So what's it like, dude?
It's pretty good. It still needs quite a few adjustments here and there because there have been performance problems with it on multiple people's computers, and I'm one of them. I have a nice laptop here, and I can run it. That's nice. Unfortunately, it only goes at about 9 FPS at the lowest settings, so I personally am waiting for them to update the game a bit more. And then I'll probably play a lot more, because I'm a Fallout addict. I will say that right there.
That sounds good. So I've never actually played any of the Fallout games. It's my big confession. What is Fallout?
So basically what Fallout is I won't go into the entire history of Fallout because that's a bit much. But basically what it is the United States and I think it was China? Yeah, it was China mostly. They got into a giant fight and
As you do.
yeah. And it was mainly because the world's resources had run out. So eventually, nukes were fired, just to make this simple. And a lot of the world was destroyed. And so basically, you're playing as a character in what used to be the world, the United States as we know it. And it's just become an irradiated, blasted mess. So yeah, that's Fallout.
That sounds fun. So, Fallout is a pretty popular game from what I've heard. Like, well, at least for me, if you take one look on Facebook, you're going to see all these memes and crap about Fallout 4's coming out, and everybody loves Fallout 4 and all this good stuff. And honestly, there are a lot of games about post-apocalyptic stuff, and a lot of them aren't very good. So, what is it that makes Fallout, like, good as a game? Like, you know what I mean?
What makes Fallout good as a game is the fact that it's an open world RPG, and it's just absolutely massive.
Oh, alright. So, like, take something like Borderlands, because that's a game that I have played. It's again, a very large game. Like, you can go around wandering for everywhere, right? And all these different quests, and it takes you forever to get it all finished and all that, right? Is it kind of like that kind of size, or is it, you know what I mean?
I would almost say it's almost bigger than that, actually.
Really? Wow. Okay, you know what? I think I should actually play Borderlands and see for myself. Which I'm gonna, for the sake of the podcast, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna do that. Chances are I probably actually won't.
You mean you're gonna play Fallout?
Fallout, yeah. but chances are I probably won't actually play Fallout because I'm too busy with life and crap. But yeah, that sounds legit.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I love Fallout. I've spent over 2 hours, 200. I've spent over 2 hours. Love it. I've spent over 200 hours on Fallout New Vegas.
It's a hell of a lot of time, mate.
Yeah. Well, the mods, man. I mean, mods everywhere.
Oh, wait. So do you mod it then?
Oh yeah.
Like
There's-
what kind of mods?
There's everything really. I mean, the modding community for Fallout is absolutely massive, and if you want to find something on the Fallout Nexus, you can, if whether that be good or bad, and sometimes there's a lot of good stuff. Other times, not really.
Well, that's interesting. You know, I've always been a real fan of games and crap.
Well, yeah, it's kind of hard not to be in this day and age.
Would you call yourself a gamer?
Oh yeah.
So wait, so other than like Fallout, what other games do you play?
I play first-person shooters, like usual, like COD.
Like Call of Duty, yeah.
Yeah. I don't play it as
Call of the
regular.
bloody Duty, mate. Yeah.
I don't play it as regular.
Hey, that was a new one of those, wasn't it? Like the Black Ops 3 or whatever.
Yeah, Black Ops 3 came out.
That's great. So apparently Black Ops 3 is better than Black Ops 2, but I never played Black Ops 2, or Black Ops 3, or Black Ops 1. So I don't actually know what that even means. Is it good?
I would have to say that I enjoy the classics, so I would say that Black Ops 2 is better, but, you know, I mean, that's just my opinion. I can't really say officially or anything like that.
Huh. Well, I remember a while ago, right? The only time I've ever played COD was, right, when I was, like, a kid, and I had this little DS, and I
Yeah.
had, like, the DS version of COD,
Ugh.
and I remember I beat it. It took me about 2 hours to beat the whole thing, and it was really boring. But, of course, that was on a DS, and I feel like it's one of those games that isn't really meant for DS.
No, it was not meant for DS whatsoever. No. Whoever bought it on DS, I'm so sorry.
Well, it was pre-owned, so it doesn't really matter. So to all those fans out there listening that have old-fashioned DSs and go around buying pre-owned games from like 10 years ago, steer clear of DS version of Call of Duty.
Yeah, just do yourself a favor. Don't. It's bad.
That is pretty sweet. Wait, and Halo 5 came out too. Now that is one that I've heard is really good, because I played all the other Halos all the way. I'm a real Halo fan, right?
Yeah.
And I love Halo, but I haven't actually played Halo 5 yet, because you've got to have an Xbox One, and I haven't, because I'm a cheapskate, so I don't have it. Have you played it yet?
Yeah, actually I have.
What is it? Is it good?
Yeah, it's amazing. They've improved a lot of the different mechanics, and they've added a couple new weapons, I think. Yeah, they have, actually. And then they added the Gun Goose, which is the Mongoose, but with cannons on the front.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I figured.
Wait, because the Mongoose has always been a little
I've always thought
little
that
housey father.
I always thought it should have like machine guns on it or something. But
Yeah, no, I've always thought the same thing. Yeah, no, because so it's the story, isn't it? So what I heard was it's like the Master Chief is outdated or whatever, and so they're trying to kill him. That's all I can gather from what I've seen.
no. It's a lot different than that.
So what is the story then?
I personally cannot say all that much about it because I haven't played through all of it, and I don't know the storyline all that well. What I can tell you is that there's something to do with Cortana.
Well, so wait, but Cortana died in the fourth one.
Did she?
Spoiler alert, Cortana died. Or maybe she didn't. Maybe she's still alive. But she's dead. What?
So she's a zombie?
No, so what actually... So wait, is Cortana still alive, mate?
Yeah, Cortana's still alive.
That's really sad. Like, at the same time, like, I'm glad she's alive. I'm really sad that they had to do that. Because now it feels really cliche all of a sudden.
I mean, you can't blame them.
Yeah, I can. I'm blaming him right now. I'm gonna bloody blame him, mate. There's nothing you can do.
Well,
I'm gonna do it.
That's rude.
I don't care if it's rude. I'm gonna blame him.
All I want, and there's nothing you can do to stop me.
I mean, technically, I could punch you, but
Yeah, but you're not going to because you're in my house. So I'll kick
I
you out
guess
into the cold. Or
you
whatever.
already blindfolded me and put chloroform over my mouth. So
Yeah, well, I'll do it again in a heartbeat.
that's mean.
Or I'll do it to your heartbeat. Chloroform your heartbeat, mate. Then you'll die. And I'll get someone else to be my mate next time. Actually, I'm probably gonna get someone else anyway.
Aye.
I'll just never let you back on the show.
That's what I'll do. Ha ha ha. With my skills.
What skills?
That's a good question.
I'm not gonna answer that.
Is there anything else?
Let's see. So, I don't know. I haven't been playing a whole lot of games lately. Like,
I've been doing some Minecraft. I've been checking out some mods.
Yeah.
You know, because I've always I found Minecraft, like when it first came out, I loved the idea of it. And then it got popular, and now there's a bunch of little kids all over it, and it's like this big fandom, and it's kind of put me off it, right? But, that said, some of the new mods on it that I'm looking at, I really love. Like, for instance, I recently got this one, it was a ship mod, right?
Yeah.
Where basically what it allows you to do is build like a ship out of wood or whatever, and then like use it as an actual ship, and you can move it around and stuff. So it basically means you can move your whole house around the water.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And so what I did is they combined that with like the Millionaire mod, and the Millionaire mod is basically just there are a bunch of cultures like the Japanese and the Hindis and the Normans and all of these different people, right? And you go around and you can trade with them, and they have villages and they build up and all this. So it kind of adds like an economy and kind of a social feeling to Minecraft, which is cool because the whole idea of Minecraft normally is rather lonely. It's that you're just kind of sitting there trying to stay alive, building houses and fighting monsters with no other people in the world. So it kind of adds that extra depth to it. And so I'm really liking that. Also gives it a bit more of a goal too, because you're trying to make friends as opposed to just trying to not die, which gets really easy after a little while.
but yeah. So that is good. Let's see. Other than that, I'm not playing a whole bunch of games. I don't know. Let's move on from games. What's something else? I don't know. Movies. Let's talk about movies. So, let's see. That Martian. Did you see The Martian?
Yeah, actually,
What did you think, mate?
I thought it was amazing.
I really, really enjoyed it.
I thought it was.
But because we're on a podcast, we're not allowed to talk about how we enjoyed it. We're just gonna have to pick it apart and make it sound terrible. All right?
Okay.
Because that's what we do.
We do.
So everybody was always talking about The Martian, saying that its science was like really great and really accurate. And that said, it was very good, like better than, Interstellar or something like that. But the science still had some significant flaws, right?
Yeah.
One flaw that I saw on the movie that I have not actually seen anywhere online yet. Actually, if any of you listeners, right, people listening to this podcast, have actually seen this online, tell me. Because then, well, actually, maybe don't tell me. Because then I can think that I'm the only one who found it, and then I'll be happy with myself or whatever. Live in my little dream world. Or whatever. But anyway, what the problem is, what I found on that bit, when they're in the space station, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the guy gets in his spacesuit, and he's gonna go out to pick up, what's his name, Mark Watney, right?
Yeah.
Well, on the side of his spacesuit, he's got the red lines, right? The red stripes.
Yeah.
And then all the other spacesuits have like the black and white checkered ones. Well, the thing is, the red stripes actually signify captain, but he's not the captain. He's just the cargo guy going out to get him, and he's wearing the captain's suit. And so they even went to all the effort of having the one captain suit, and then they put it on the wrong guy. And that was something, I thought that was interesting, because I never saw that online. Like, I noticed that during the movie, but nobody else I've seen has actually seen it. In all of, how they've got, CinemaSins and all them.
Yeah.
But none of them caught it,
love
which is something that's
CinemaSins.
interesting. There's also a couple of other things, with the air pressure. There's this one bit that I remember, I think, it was during like one of the first scenes when he's got no communication, right? He's still getting the weather report on the computer in the background, even though his communications and his satellite are completely busted, supposedly, because they forgot to take it out.
That's just a
That's something I thought was funny.
that's a dumb mistake right there.
It'd suck to be alone on Mars.
No, really, you don't say.
Because, like, yeah, I don't know. I was just, as I was watching that, it was he handled it pretty well.
No, yeah, you kind of have to. I mean,
Yeah, well.
I remember one point in the book where he got so bored that eventually, have you read the book actually?
No, I've not.
Read the book. It's really good.
I'm gonna. I probably won't actually, but I'm gonna.
You should, because it's absolutely hilarious. Besides the first few sentences, there's one point in the book where I highlighted it and flagged it because it just made it was funny. And that part was he was so bored that eventually he started going through the superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
He was going through their powers and thinking like, huh, how does that work? And oh, that would be cool. But eventually he gets to what was it? Aquaman. There we go. That guy. And he asks himself, how does Aquaman control whales? They're mammals.
Well, I think they're still underwater though, mate.
Yeah, no, but
Aquaman is the king of the sea. I'm what you might call a comic buff because I read a lot of comics and I love comics.
yeah, I know you do.
Including
Yes.
Aquaman. Aquaman is a great character. I hate how everyone always hates on Aquaman because Aquaman is beautiful.
Well, he's
That was probably not the best word I could have used. Aquaman is amazing. Aquaman is very cool. Like, just because he's like got this super strength, right? So if he goes underwater or whatever, he's like can survive all the super strong pressure. So that means when he's like on Earth, he can survive like bullets, and he's super strong, and he can see in the dark and all this. And then of course he's got a bunch of friends who are like sharks and fish and all that crap. But I think he's pretty cool.
I think you're probably one of the few people who think he's cool.
Yeah, well, I'm used to being alone anyway. So, where was I? What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, you were talking about The Martian, weren't we?
Yeah.
Martian. It's a good movie.
You know what? One thing that I always thought was funny was that you remember when he first when he was creating the garden and he first went in and exploded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
And then the second time he goes in and ignites all that stuff. Actually, no, I just forgot what I was going to point out. There was a flaw. There was a flaw in there that I saw and was like, oh, wait,
I believe the explosion wasn't in the book. Or at least that's what some guy who told me who has read the book. It was like Hoppus or whatever told me that.
Noah Hoppus is one of our friends. From
Noah Hoppus, for those of you who don't know, so pretty much everybody who's listening to this, those of you who don't know Noah Hoppus, he's basically this nuclear physicist who's like, he's 18, he's got like a couple Tesla coils in his living room that shoot like 12-foot lightning arcs, he's got a particle accelerator that he's working on, he's got primed uranium that may or may not be legal, just sitting on his shelf. You know, like, but he's got hydrochloric acid, and all that just sitting in his room. But the most hilarious thing about him is he's a complete cynic. Like, he's always talking about depression and all that crap, right? But he's hilarious and he's amazing. I love Noah. Don't you think he's great?
Noah's amazing.
Yeah, he's one of those people that you're never gonna meet anyone like him, and that's probably a good thing. But at the same time, if you do meet someone like him, you're never gonna let him go.
Just run.
Yeah, or don't run. I don't care. It's not my place to tell you what to do with your life or your friends, if you have any, which you probably don't. Ha ha ha.
If you're listening to this
Ha
podcast.
ha 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 ha
For
ha.
those of you who have friends, I'm so sorry.
You're all a bunch of dickheads.
No, that's
Because you
not
got
very
friends. Friends are dickheads.
Nice. That's not very nice. I'm your friend.
You're a dickhead.
Oh,
Ha 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 ha. Okay. I feel bad now. Alright, I don't care. I don't care, mate. Go out with a bang. Yeah. Where was I? What was I talking about? Yeah. So, yeah. I remember. Something Noah Hoppus told me yesterday. He said that the one place that really signifies loneliness, right, is that you've spent more time in bed with a pole transformer than you have with any other person.
What the heck is a pole transformer?
That's a good question. It's a transformer that uses two poles to transform electricity. That's about all I know. It's very good for handling with high voltages and stuff like that.
That is pretty sad.
That is pretty hoppus. You know what? I should probably get him on the show. Next week, I'll do my very best to see if I can get Noah Hoppus on the show to come and swear a bit and talk about sadness and crap.
Wait, we can swear?
Yeah, we can swear.
Oh.
I don't care about swearing, mate.
Oh. I didn't know that.
What did you think? You think we couldn't swear?
Yeah.
We can do whatever the hell we want, mate. It's our podcast.
That's a good point.
And if the listeners, if you don't like swearing, guess what you can do? You can not swear and then just not listen to this podcast. Or you can get over it and just not care, like me. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, The Martian. What's something else? You know what I thought was funny? That I couldn't help thinking, because like I watched I went to the theaters to see it, and I saw it twice. And the first time I watched it seriously, but the second time I watched it and I was thinking about what would like all the perfect jokes and things that they could slip in, right? And so what I wanted, like at the very end of the movie, he gets to that class and he's telling them and he's making jokes and he's like, "Well, I survived on Mars and I'm great, and this training could save your life because it saved mine, and I'm funny." And then he's like, "Before we get started, does anyone have any questions?" And then everybody in the class puts up their hand, right? And that's the end of the movie. Well, what I thought would have been great, and they should have done this, or I would have done this, is he should have been like, "Any questions?" And then nobody puts up their hand. And like, no one cares. Like, everyone just kind of like, "Nah, no questions. Just go on with the lesson." You know? I think it would have been great.
That would have been really mean.
It would have been hilarious. I would have laughed. Like, it would have been worth the $20 to get into the movie right there.
Paid $20 to get in?
No, I think it was like 10.
Oh.
It would have been worth $20 though. If they did it, I would have paid 20. Yeah. You know, it must be really weird, because I remember like thinking, as he's like going through and he puts on his helmet, like whenever he goes into the oxygen, like he's got to go through a series of steps. Like he's got his helmet, he goes into the door, he opens the airlock, he goes in the door, he closes the airlock, he balances the oxygen, he balances the air pressure, he takes his helmet off, he breathes, right? What I would probably do if I went in there, I would go in and I'd like open the door and then I'd like balance the oxygen, then I'd take my head off and then I'd forget to close the door or whatever and I'd die or something like that. Because like, if he's doing this every day, I feel like one day you would just miss a step and you'd kill yourself. Like,
Well,
that's how dangerous this is.
Well, he did. He accidentally blew up his lab.
Actually, yeah, you got a point there. What was something interesting I thought about that? Was it said that, like, all of his stuff died because it, like, snap froze? But the thing is, if you snap freeze a potato, the potato doesn't die. Like, that's the thing.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a botanist nor a scientist. You know that.
Yeah. Well, I think what he should have done is he should have fixed the air pressure, got the potatoes out, and then kept going, because they were snap freezed and wouldn't have died. And he's supposed to know this stuff because he's a botanist. I mean, botanists don't know anything anyway. That's probably why he failed, mate. That's probably why he didn't get to the ship on time, because he was a botanist.
Yeah, but
I feel like if he was a real scientist, he would have dodged that thing and got into the ship, and everything would have been okay.
yeah, but he was the best botanist on Mars.
There's only one botanist. He's the only botanist on Mars, mate.
I know.
He
so
said,
he's
you know,
the best.
You know what I feel like? I feel like when he says that, like, I'm the best botanist on Mars, what's the chances of, like, someone else on Mars who's also a botanist? Like, there's one other person there somewhere that nobody knows about, like some alien, and that alien just happens to be a botanist, and he's better than Matt Damon. I think that'd be
Then
perfect.
I think that alien should have eventually revealed itself to the humans so that the alien wouldn't have been such a dick.
But I feel like aliens are usually dicks, aren't they?
I guess.
I feel like if we came to an alien planet, right? To those aliens, we would be the aliens. And I also feel like we would probably be dicks if we did that. I mean, like, look at Avatar. To those people, we were aliens and we were
Yeah,
dicks.
but wasn't that also made by environmentalists?
Yeah, it was a terrible movie. But that's beside the point. That movie, so we're getting sidetracked, but I don't care. That movie was basically Dances with Wolves, but with aliens and robots and guns. And political agendas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not a very good movie.
No, it really wasn't.
Yeah, oh well.
Yeah, you can't win them all.
Or, unless you're me, in which case you win everything because you're amazing. Ha 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 ha. Beat that. Yeah, dickhead.
I can beat that. I have a life.
That was mean. Just because I don't have a life doesn't mean you get to be mean.
No, I think that means I get to be mean.
Besides, I have a life.
What do you do?
It's called bubble wrap, mate. Just sit there with my bubble wrap, having a life, and having a Coke, or whatever. I don't know. Don't make me sad. Too late. I'm sad.
Oh gosh darn it.
Yeah, well. America.
Woohoo!
So, I just realised, we're going on with the show and all this, right? But this is technically our first episode, so nobody knows who I am, or even who you are, right? And so, they know more about the people that aren't actually on the show right now, like Hoppus, than they actually do know about us, and we're the hosts. So I think what we should do is we should talk about ourselves.
Me? Talk about... Okay.
So, tell me a bit about your life.
Well, I'm Caleb. For obvious reasons, I'm not going to put out my last name. I live here in Washington, in Seattle. I'm a pastor's son. I know, that's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, who in their right minds would want to be a pastor's son, right?
Because you totally had a choice.
Yeah, totally. I'm adopted. That was fun.
That's a cool thing.
Yeah. I have a girlfriend.
Ah, rubbing it in, mate. Just bloody rubbing it in. I had a girlfriend once.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. Awkward. Okay. Yeah, so, what do you do with your life then?
Currently I'm a high school student. I'm a senior in high school.
Wow, so young.
Dude, you're in the same grade with me.
Shut up, I was going to lie about it when it got to my turn, mate. Gosh. Now I can't lie. Now everyone knows I'm a high school student.
Well, duh.
I'm not a high school student, everybody. I'm 52. No, that's not a
You
good
just said that you were a high school student.
No, shut up. I'm not a high school student. I'm a college student. I'm not even I just graduated college from what's it college? University of Washington. I just graduated, right? And I'm 21 years old, and yeah.
You wouldn't graduate at
And I have a
21.
Wouldn't you?
No.
When would you graduate?
No, you would graduate when you're like 24.
I'm 27 years old, and I'm graduated a while ago, and it's a true story, bro. Yeah.
You're a lying son of a bitch.
I'm lying. That doesn't mean I'm a son of it. That thing. I'm not going to say that word, because I'm not a bad person.
You just called me a dickhead not long ago.
Yeah, well, to each their own, I suppose.
You're mean.
I'm amazing. Okay, so now that we've talked a little bit about Caleb over here, I feel like, because I keep almost calling you by your last name, because for some reason you don't want them to know your last name. I don't know why. But the thing is, your nickname is your last name. So I always call you by... I feel like if you scroll back through this podcast, there's some point at which I call you by your last name.
Probably.
So, should we tell everybody?
Yeah.
No, what we should do is we should leave it, and then they will get curious, and they'll go through the whole podcast and listen to the whole thing again just to find your last name, and then we get more view time or whatever.
It's an evil plan, but I like it.
Yeah, it's perfect, mate. I'm a genius. Anyway, so, my name is Jack, right? It's a pretty boring name, I know, but whatever. I'm from Australia. I'm living in the United States. So, I came from Australia, like how many years ago? 4 years?
Yeah,
Something like 5 years ago.
just about.
And, as you've heard,
I'm a high schooler, a reluctant high schooler at that, but a high schooler nonetheless. And so what I do talk. I think, what do I do with my life?
You do a lot of programming.
I do program. That's it. Yeah, I do programming. Like I'm going to go to college and do computer science. I might actually not do that, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll probably do that. That's my goal right now. You know, go to college, do some computer science. Yeah, I do computer stuff. So that's me. Yeah. I'm not a very interesting person, as you can tell by what I've said so far. I'm pretty damn boring, but it's okay because I'm awesome.
No, it's not.
You're a dickhead. Shut up.
You're mean.
Okay, he's just judging me because he's got a girlfriend and I don't have one anymore.
Yeah.
Bit of a prick. You know how it is.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I mean, you're a bit of a prick as well, so everything works out, right?
What? No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not a prick.
Yeah, you are.
No, I am. I've used a bit.
Okay, anyway, moving on. Let's try not to insult each other in front of the
Yeah,
interview.
so that's me. So now you know everything about me, which is that I'm boring and I go to high school, and that's all that's in my life. So what else were we going to talk about? We were talking about movies, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's something else? What's another good movie? Oh no, that Star Wars is coming out.
The new Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that
Dude,
one.
I am psyched for that. I've been a Star Wars fan since forever, actually.
You were telling me earlier you were pissed at Disney about something. What was that about?
Oh, they got rid of the expanded universe.
Yeah. So what happened there? Explain a little bit to those people who don't know.
Disney just decided, we're gonna restart the entire thing.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, when Disney came up with this movie and when they bought Star Wars, the first thing they did was they went and they declared all of the expanded universe stuff non-canon. So now the only canon stuff is the 6 movies and then the Clone Wars. Other than that, everything else related to Star Wars is what's now called Star Wars Legends, and it's not actually necessarily true. It's not necessarily false either. It's just kind of being ignored.
Which is stupid, because there's a lot of good stuff in there that they could use.
Me personally, I was never a huge fan of the expanded universe, so I'm actually liking that decision. Naturally, I'm not going to tell Ness that, because that would be...
You just did.
I'm talking to the listeners. I'm not talking to you. I didn't tell you that. I told them that while you were listening. There's a big difference. But whatever. I'm not going to... Okay, well, I guess I did. I mean, I am going to tell Ness that, then. Ness,
Yeah?
expanded universe wasn't that good.
Screw you.
Bite me. Ha 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 ha.
I can.
Don't actually do it.
I have a cold too. You get sick.
I'm immune to sickness, remember?
No, you're not.
No, I'm immune to... That's not true. Alright, whatever. I'm immune to most sickness. That's...
If you say so.
Yeah, I do say so. Haha. Way to back down. Anyway, sorry everybody.
And everybody wonders why we don't get along.
We get along fine. That's more or less true, right?
I think the first time I did something nice for you was when I saved you from jumping out a window.
Okay, that was not something that needed to be broadcasted all over the internet on a podcast. And in fact, I'm going to deny it because I can. And besides, I actually have the power to edit this out of the video, right? So what I'll probably do is I'll go and I'll edit this bit out. You know, I probably won't. I'll probably say all this and then I'll forget to actually edit it out later.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know.
probably
Who
will.
knows? If you're listening and you're hearing this, disregard everything that was just said because it was supposed to be edited out and I forgot. If you're not hearing this, then I guess it doesn't matter, does it?
At least you didn't call all the podcast people dickheads.
Yeah, I did. No, I didn't. I haven't done that yet. You're all a bunch of dickheads. Ha, I did it.
See, now you're going to have to edit that part out.
No, I'm not. I'm leaving it in, mate. Haha. They can all just be dickheads, whatever they do. I don't know. I don't care. Don't bloody care, mate.
It's still pretty mean.
It's not mean. The thing is, I don't even know them, so I don't even have any grounds to say it. So if they take offense to it, guess what they can do? not listen to the podcast anymore.
And that means we get less views.
And that means, well, considering this is our first podcast and we haven't released it yet, there's not really any views to lose. That's the way I see it. So I feel like if saying that now, it doesn't matter. If I said that within like week 5, like say if I had like 500 people who watch this or listen to this or whatever they do with this, right? And then I said it, then there would be maybe a bit of a problem. But nobody cares. So,
Okay.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. May or may not be accurate. I also may or may not care. Let's see.
Moving back to the topic at hand.
Yes, topic at hand. What were we talking about?
Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah. So the expanded universe is a thing that isn't a thing anymore.
And I'm sad.
And I'm happy.
Because, I mean, they had so much potential to use a whole bunch of different stuff.
Did they though? Like, what did they actually have? Like, that's what I'm not sure about. I'm not actually sure what they had.
For one thing, they had Grand Moff Tarkin, his whole scheme of, or spiel of things. Actually, no, never mind. That wasn't that. They had the Emperor Reborn. They had that.
Yeah, but was it good?
Considering the fact that it was one of the biggest things for the New Republic, yeah.
Well, the thing is, like,
The
you can
Imperial
still
Remnant?
read it as a story because it's still there. It's just a legend now. Like, that's the thing. It's not completely gone. It's not like they said no one's ever allowed to enjoy this ever again. Like, they just said this is technically not canon in the Star Wars universe, right? And so all that they really did is it meant that they not going to get bound into any loopholes in their movies, because I think the main reason they did it, right, is if they have all that expanded universe stuff and they come up with something new that happens that contradicts that, then all of a sudden all the people who know the expanded universe are going to go like, oh, you can't do that because whatever, right? And they don't want that. And so all they did, so they just declared it uncanon and it's legend, because that way if they contradict it, they can just say, well, it wasn't true anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess you got
But you can still enjoy it, and like there's still good content. It's kind of almost, it's almost like fan fiction. Like people love fan fiction. Some people love fan fiction because, like, even though it's not canon, it's still cool and it's still a good story and it's still entertaining. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my preaching for the day. Yeah, it's my thing. Yeah. So, Star Wars. Okay, moving on from Star Wars before we get into any too major arguments. And
I'm a Star Wars freak, and I love it.
Yes, I can
I'm
tell.
playing Star Wars right now, actually. Star Wars Empire at War.
Yeah, it's a good game. I played it once, or twice, or maybe more than twice. I'm not sure. I don't care.
It's a good game. I like it. Especially with mods.
Yeah. Alright, so, let's see. Okay, so another movie that's coming out, Batman v Superman.
Oh, yeah.
What are you thinking about that? Are you pumped, or...
I am personally excited. I mean, I already know how it's going to end.
Wait, what?
Dude, it's in the comics.
Well, Batman has fought Superman, because I'm a comic buff. Batman has fought Superman many, many, many times. Like, he's been fighting since, like, the 70s, right? And it honestly depends. Like, if they're talking, like, The Dark Knight Returns or something, it would end very differently than if it's, say, one of the old What If comics or, like, a special edition or some of the other ones. Like, I can't think of all the names of the comics, but there are some very interesting ones. And so, usually, Batman wins in the comics. But that said, because of they still want to get a number of movies out of this, and Supes needs to still be around, what's going to end up happening is they're going to end up reaching some kind of an agreement that will then go on to, like, the next movies or whatever, because they're probably going to want a Justice League movie and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. I'm pretty pumped. Honestly, I don't know a whole lot about it yet, because they've deliberately kept silent about the actual, like, the complicated details and all that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they don't follow the comics though, then people are gonna get mad. I mean, they already don't follow the comics as it is, but I mean, just look at Agents of Shield. Of course, then again, that's a completely different franchise, though.
It is a very different franchise. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I'm not a huge fan. Like, I haven't seen the whole thing. I don't know. I'm not a huge Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan.
It has its place. At least they still have Coulson.
Oh, yeah, because they brought him back. But I'm concerned about that. Because, like, with Agent Coulson, right, they brought him back for the TV show, but not everyone watches the TV show. So then for, like, Avengers and things like that, they can't bring him back because nobody actually knows about him, that he's alive, unless they've watched the TV show. And so we went through, like, all of Age of Ultron and that without ever mentioning Coulson at all.
Oh, that's the point.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's still alive, so it's going to be really awkward. So from now on, all the Marvel movies aren't going to be able to have Coulson in him, but all the TV shows will. And so it's going to have this, it's going to just be awkward.
Yeah,
And it's going to be this inconsistency. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being picky. Maybe I don't care.
I'm sure at some little level you care.
You know, you're probably right. I probably care.
Yeah. Oh well.
Doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, Batman vs Superman. I am super excited because Batman gets a new suit.
Oh, yeah. What do you think of the new suit, mate?
Dude, I am, like, I think he's been taking lessons from Tony Stark on the side.
Tony Stark? What?
Dude, have you seen the new super?
Oh, you mean the metal suit?
Yeah, the metal one.
Yeah, I guess. It doesn't fly or anything. I don't know.
Still though, it's still really cool.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty sweet. Yeah. So let's see what else. You know, have you been watching? You watch TV shows too?
On occasions.
Okay, because I've been watching this anime show recently.
Oh yeah, anime. That's always
So
something.
so I'm not an anime fan. Like, I generally don't watch anime.
Yeah, the
Like-
last anime I heard you watching was like Sword Art Online.
Yeah, well, I enjoyed Sword Art Online, and it was very emotional, and then I decided this is too emotional, I'm never watching this again. And so that's what I did.
I remember that.
Or didn't do, or whatever. Anyway, so I never watched anime again, until recently, a friend of mine comes up to me and is like, hey, you should watch this new anime that's out called One Punch Man.
Ooh, I love that one.
And I was like, no, I don't watch anime. And then he explained the premise to me. And so what I did is I went and I watched the whole series, or what of the series is out, and I'm actually really loving it. Because what it's about, for those of you who don't know, or don't care, I don't know. Anyway, what it is, it's about this guy who's so powerful, he can kill anything in one punch. Right?
Hence One Punch Man.
Yeah, hence One Punch Man. But the story is about him being super depressed as a result of that. Right? So it's like him trying to gain acceptance from the world because he's such a boring superhero, because he's too powerful, right? And trying to find someone who's actually a challenge for him and failing.
So
All in
you-
all, a very good movie. Oh, show, or whatever you call it.
Yeah. I can see that.
Have you seen One Punch Man?
Yeah, of course I have. I usually watch any of the new stuff. Whether I watch it completely through or not depends. Because I've seen a lot of animes in my time. Not all of them have been all that amazing.
Fair point.
I mean, I personally... After a while, I kind of have to agree with what people have been saying about, like, Sword Art Online. That it's just there for money now. I mean, and it really is. I mean, because the storyline doesn't make any sense. The animation's good.
But the thing is, that's not just anime. That's like literally any show. It's largely about money.
Yeah, true.
Like, that's the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. But with One Punch Man, I love that show. It's a good one. Hopefully they won't pull a Sword Art Online and just do it for money.
I don't think they will. But, I mean, they might. That's not necessarily bad. The only thing that becomes bad is when that starts affecting the quality. And you can do that. Like, for instance, take Marvel. The reason that Marvel is making movies is for money. But Marvel movies are still good, mostly. Right?
Yeah.
And so, that's not a problem. Now, if Marvel started, like, churning them out and making them terrible to try and make more money, that's when it becomes a problem. But I would say that's probably not even going to make them much money, because then people will stop watching it. That's the thing. If people start making a product that nobody wants, then they'll stop making money. And that balances out the market. So that's really the power of the consumer right there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I don't know. But overall, One Punch Man, amazing.
Yeah. So if you haven't watched it,
Go
go
watch
out
it.
and watch it.
Go watch it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I'll give you a URL, but I don't want to put in the effort because I'm lazy and stuff.
Oh, you might.
You know, I probably won't.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Anyway, what are we up to? Let's see.
I'm still
What's
playing
something
Star
else?
Wars.
Well, Star Wars. We talked about Star Wars. We talked about Batman v Superman. There's a new Hunger Games movie coming out. What do you think of that?
PETA died. Or no, wait, no, not PETA. PETA doesn't die. PETA should have died. Ah! But,
Spoiler alert.
Rue dies. Spoilers, if you haven't read the books.
You just ruined it for everybody. Okay, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna put a spoiler alert before that.
Are you just gonna put one of those giant censor bleeps right there?
Yeah.
Okay, please do.
Yeah. No, I will. Or I'll just cut it out.
I've always
No,
wanted to be
I'll
bleeped
probably
out.
just have like this whole section just awkwardly cut out with no explanation, right?
No, just give it a censor bleep.
No, because that's too much work. I have to
No.
go through and actually edit this, remember?
Yeah, sure enough.
So I'm not going to do it.
I'm sad.
I don't care.
I've always wanted to be bleeped out.
Well, too bad. Your dreams are not coming true today.
No.
Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha. It doesn't matter. I don't care.
I'm hurt.
I'm not.
Again.
I'm happy.
I think throughout this entire thing, your entire spiel has been trying to hurt me.
Yeah, well. Such is life. Life is out to get you. I'm not paranoid or anything.
Nah, sure.
So, let's see. What else is there to talk about?
Politics. Everybody loves hearing about politics.
Yeah, let's talk about politics. That's a good idea.
Oh, crap, me having a good idea? Who would have thought?
Yeah, I know, right?
Shut
A
up.
bit weird. Hey, I'm just saying what you said. So, all right. So, what's going on in politics? Oh, by the way, for those of you who are listening who aren't in Australia, we're from Australia. Sorry, we're not from. Sorry, America. Did I say Australia? I did,
Yeah.
didn't I? So,
You're from Australia.
So those of you who are listening who aren't from America, like me, but who aren't living in America, unlike me because I'm living in America, this is American politics, not anyone else's politics. Mainly American politics anyway. So if you don't care about American politics, you can skip this section. Or you can not skip this section and just listen to it anyway.
This is going to be funny.
Or you can turn the whole thing off and give up. I don't care.
You still got your
Your
view?
choice. Yeah, because even if you started it, right, and you didn't like it, and you quit, it still counts as a view for us on the actual charts or whatever, so it doesn't actually matter.
Oh, I mean, it matters to me.
Well, what also matters, you should leave a like too, though. Like, if you're going to quit, just leave a like on your way out. Just because that makes us happy or whatever.
Just do that as your, like, one kind act for the day.
Yeah, you're a little act of kindness. Act of kindnesses are good. Acts of kindness, not act of kindnesses. That's, gosh, I'm tired.
I can tell.
Yeah, well. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Ow. Yeah. Politics. So, of course, the first thing that comes to mind is Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. What's going on with Donald Trump?
The little Trump-a-doodle-doo.
So, I honestly, because I'm Australian, and I'm not actually an American citizen, so I can't vote in this country, and as a result, I haven't really followed it as much as I could. So, would you mind filling me in on exactly what is going on with Donald Trump? Like, what makes him tick? Why does everybody hate him?
Well, for one thing, he isn't politically correct.
Alright.
And he's racist to a point, and he says a lot of things that he probably shouldn't.
Uh-huh.
And there's a lot of things that, I mean, some of the things he says are true, and they're kind of the hard. He's kind of into the hard truth type stuff,
Ah, alright.
and it's unfortunate, but that's just what it is, and that is what it is. Ultimately, Donald Trump recently, he's done the whole build a wall, deport them all thing, and that's been met with a lot of criticism.
So, for those of you who don't know what that is, can you give us a fill in?
Basically, Donald Trump called a whole bunch of Mexican immigrants rapists, murderers, and general non-do-gooders. Because,
Ew.
yeah, not amazing. He did not say any good things about them, and that kind of, that pissed them off. And so, but his plan for when he's president is he's going to build a wall and deport all of the illegal immigrants back across that wall.
Across all. So this is like along the Mexican border then?
Yes.
He's building a massive wall.
Yeah, basically.
So how big is this wall going to be? Because
Uh,
that's a lot of money. How much is it going to cost?
I don't know. He hasn't exactly laid any plans for it. There aren't any blueprints for it.
Okay, so I'm going to Google this real quickly. Google is a great thing. For those of you who don't know what Google is,
You're living under a rock.
first thing I'm going to say is, I don't know how the hell you found this podcast. The second thing I'm going to say is, Google is a great thing. You should use it. And if you're using Bing, God help you.
If you're using Bing, the only thing that you should be using Bing for is figuring out where to get Google Chrome.
Yeah, Bing is how you find Google if you don't know where Google is. That's all you can use it for. If you use it for anything else, you're an idiot. Okay, so I just searched Bing on Google accidentally because I was talking about Bing. What was I actually searching for? I was searching for wall.
Yeah.
Wall cost. No, what's it called? Border wall cost. That's it. Let's see. And that, okay, 28 billion per year for 2 years. So like $50 billion. And guess who gets to pay for that?
I do.
Taxpayers.
Yeah.
I bet all the taxpayers are really happy about this, aren't they?
They're absolutely thrilled.
I know, right? If I was a taxpayer and I had to pay money to build some wall to protect myself from illegal immigrants, I would be happy.
You would?
No, I wouldn't. I'm joking. I'm lying. No, I have a story about illegal immigrants, right? Because the other day I was driving down Aurora, and for those of you who don't live anywhere near me, so most of you,
Aurora Avenue.
Aurora, it's this big street that goes through where I live, right?
It's basically the highway to Canada from the United States.
Yeah, exactly. And it's in the middle of it's around here. Anyway, and it's very well lit and all that, right? And well, anyway, I was driving down Aurora, and all of a sudden, this car pulls out off a private driveway right in front of me, and I slam on my brakes and I can't stop, and I hit this car in a car accident, right? And it was really sad and all that, because I got in a car accident, and I had to pay a lot of money for my insurance and all that. And guess what? The person did not speak English. They only spoke Spanish. And up until this point, I was thinking, you know what? We might as well let all the immigrants in or whatever. And then all of a sudden, the immigrant hits me with her car. And now I'm thinking, maybe we shouldn't actually let them in because they hit me with cars.
Aren't you
I'm an immigrant, but I'm a good immigrant.
So,
I'm an immigrant from Australia.
So explain how you think. Explain your reasoning on that.
Well, Australia is the best country in the planet. So right. So if you're imported from Australia, that then you're just better than everybody.
Okay, well that I can call bullshit on one thing right there.
Which thing?
Australia is not the best country on the planet.
Yes, it is. It's so much the best. You know why it is?
Why?
Because we're the only country that has native kangaroos and stuff.
Does your country have guns?
Yes.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. Just not as many as here. But it does have guns. Every country has guns, mate.
Can your citizens carry around guns?
Depends on the citizen. Some of them can. Okay. Before all this drilling, this is not an opportunity for us to like beat each other up about our own countries and which country is better. The point is,
Because we already know America's the best.
okay. First thing I have to say is you're bloody wrong, mate, and you're a dickhead. And the second thing I have to say is that doesn't matter. The point is I got hit by this immigrant from Mexico, right? And I'm assuming she was a legal immigrant. Because otherwise she would have been deported for hitting me or something like that. I don't know. And then again with Obama these days, who knows what will happen. But the thing is, she was an immigrant from Mexico, and I'm realizing the problem is not that they're letting a lot of illegal immigrants in. I feel like we should let a lot of people in. That's not the problem. The problem is that the people that we're letting in, particularly these illegal immigrants, didn't have to go through any checking or anything, because usually we have a very rigorous system to decide who gets to come in. Whereas the illegal immigrants, they don't have to go through that. And so if we grant them citizenship, we're not just letting more people into the United States, we're letting people in who didn't actually get checked and qualified to be in this country, and who may or may not actually be eligible to live in this country. That is the biggest problem. And what I'm realizing is that lady, who obviously did not know how to drive without hitting people with her car, was probably not eligible to live in this country. Well, no, that's a bit mean. She was not eligible to drive down Aurora, right? And so that's why I'm thinking that this is a bit of a problem. Now, whether we should build a wall and deport them all, I don't know about that, because, of course, there are some that are eligible. I think what we should probably do, right, is just test them test them by the same standard that we would when it's a person that's coming into the United States. Like me, when I came in from Australia, I had to go through like tests and things like that. They had to do background checks, all this stuff on me to make sure that I was actually supportive to the United States. And that's what got me in. I think we should do that with all these immigrants. Rather, we may or may not have to deport them, but I think if we are going to let them in, at least do those tests. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see it, yeah.
You may not agree. I'm probably wrong. I don't really care.
Well, you certainly aren't politically correct.
Since when do I care about that?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So if you're listening to this podcast and you're like one of those people who are really sensitive to like stuff that's politically incorrect, I want to let you know I mean no offense in any way. If you are taking offense, I'm sorry. I also want to ask, if you are taking offense, how the hell did you get this far through the podcast? So I'm assuming if you're this far through the podcast, you probably don't care. In fact, you probably like things that aren't politically correct, like me. So that's my assumption. If I'm wrong and you're offended, I'm sorry. You dickhead. Let's see. So what else do we have? So wait, no, something happened in Paris the other day. What was that? There was like a terrorist attack or something? Did you get the details on that?
Yeah, there's a terrorist attack in Paris, France.
As opposed to Paris that's not in France.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a good point. I'm pretty sure somewhere in the United States that there's a Paris, but
I doubt it.
you know what?
Americans don't like French people.
I'm gonna Google that, and it's the other way around. The French people don't like us.
I don't think either. I don't think we like each other at all. I don't think it matters which one. I think it's both, mate. I might be wrong. Probably wrong. Doesn't matter. Anyway,
No, I'm pretty sure that they don't like us.
oh no, they don't like you. I know that. But I love how we're using like gross stereotypes over here.
Actually, there are quite a few places named Paris. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24 places in the United States that are named Paris.
Wow, that's intense.
Yeah. So, I was right.
You're a dickhead.
As you have said many times, however, I still don't care.
Well, that means you're learning to not care or whatever. I don't know. I don't care. Where were we? What were we talking about? Oh yeah, there was a terrorist attack in Paris, France.
Yeah. A lot of people died. I think.
I think so. There was like 18 casualties within the first 5 minutes, because that's when I found out. I found out within like the first 5 minutes over Google News, as I do, right? And then I think what it was overall, it was like 163, I think, people were killed, and then a bunch of people were injured, if I'm correct.
I think so.
Yeah, which is pretty bad, honestly. I mean, any number of people dying is pretty bad, but that in itself is, I mean, I'd love to be able to say it's uncommonly bad. Unfortunately, bad stuff isn't exactly uncommon, but it's pretty bad. So, yeah. Anything else that's politically going on right now, mate?
Apparently, a couple of days ago, with the United States drone strike over in the Middle East, we killed Jihadi John, or whatever his name was.
John? That doesn't sound like a very jihadi name.
Yeah, well, it was it wasn't supposed to be meant as a compliment. It's more of an insult, really. It was this British, I think, soldier, mercenary, something? I can't remember. Who went over and joined ISIS and has been seen in a lot of beheading videos, and was one of the main figures of ISIS. Apparently, we killed him in a drone strike. I'm not sure if that's still accurate or true anymore, but I certainly hope so. So that would have been a huge blow to ISIS.
Wow, so you're wishing death on people.
No, I mean, it's ISIS.
Fair point.
It's kind of like wishing death on the communists.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hang on. That's going back a little bit, isn't it?
I'm an American.
Wow, communism... Yeah, communism isn't great. Communism doesn't work super well. That doesn't mean anybody who likes communism should be killed. It's a bit out of line, don't you think, mate?
No.
You're a dickhead.
After all the politically incorrect things you've said, I'm pretty sure that that's the least of the things that's going to be argued about in here.
Still a dickhead.
Yeah, I've already come to accept that fact.
Apparently.
Anyway, so yeah, Jihadi John, dead.
Yay, or something. I don't know. I think I'm supposed to say yay. I don't really care.
Yeah, you're supposed to say yay. That's a big thing.
Yippee-ki-yay. So,
Motherfucker.
what do you think we should do about ISIS? Do you think we should just go in there and get involved?
Well, there's the problem. I would like to, however, at the same time, I know that if we did, then they would just pull another, like, you remember the whole problem with the terrorists, right, in the fight on terrorism?
There have been a lot of problems with the fight on terrorism.
One of the main problems was that they used the hills and the mountains, and we couldn't go in because we couldn't officially declare war on them because there was no actual standing army for them. Mm-hmm. It was just a whole bunch of guerrillas. And by I don't mean animals, I mean guerrilla forces. Yes. Basically, that would happen again with ISIS, and we can't really afford that.
Well, yeah, I think the thing is, why wouldn't ISIS, this organization, post all these videos with all these horrible things on the internet? And I think the only reason they would post that is if they wanted us to come and get them. And I think the question we should be asking ourselves is, why do they want to come and get us? And us to come and get them. And I think it's because they know they can't beat America on American soil. It's friggin' America, mate. You can't beat America in America. However, if you look at history, like for instance Vietnam or whatever, America is not as great overseas doing guerrilla against this kind of warfare just because we're not used to it, because it's so different from America. And so I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to get us over there, get us to attack them,
and so they can take us out on their own turf. And that's what they're trying to do. And for that reason, I think no matter how bad the videos get, we need to be able to not go in there and, in a sense, ignore the videos, simply because that's what ISIS is trying to get us to do, to go in there and stop them on their own turf.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad that it makes sense, but yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. It's a sad world. World sucks, mate. So, is there anything else we need to talk about?
I don't really think so.
Alright. Well, let's close. Now, this is normally when I would answer any emails or whatever that I've been sent from our listeners. However, considering this is the first episode I've ever made, we don't have a whole lot of emails. By that I mean, we have no emails. And so, what I've decided to do instead is just... What should we do instead, mate? I haven't actually made my decision yet.
Just go ahead and end it.
We could end it. No, okay. Well, I guess we'll have to end it. But, so, because, like, next time, we want to have, like, letters and emails and stuff sent in. So, if you want to contact me, or this podcast, well, a place where you can do that is, let's see, our email address, which is thebaitandthemate@gmail.com. No spaces. Right?
And no caps.
Yeah, because that's our podcast, The Bait and the Mate. Me being the bait, and Ness being the mate. Oh, I mean Caleb being the mate. His last name is not Ness. His last name is
Jeffries.
Jeffries. Caleb Jeffries.
It's Ness.
Yeah.
Just go
well,
ahead.
whatever. Doesn't matter, mate. Yeah. So if you want to contact us, you contact us at thebaitandthemate@gmail.com or on Facebook or Twitter. But we don't have Facebook or Twitter yet. So next week, you'll be able to contact us on Facebook and Twitter. Alright?
Yeah.
So, now this is where we should say goodbye and say our catchphrase. So, we need to come up with a catchphrase real quick. What's your catchphrase?
Well, I'm Caleb, and I'm the mate.
Do you have a catchphrase, though? Like, just, like, a specific to you?
Yeah, fuck you.
That's alright. I guess that's a good catchphrase.
No, that's not gonna be it.
That's not going to be it. Okay, gotta be quick, mate. We don't have long. Actually, we have as long as we want, don't we? Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, we have editing powers.
Yeah, but still,
What's
what's your catchphrase?
I don't know. You do yours.
I haven't thought of one yet.
Oh,
Or I could do it off that picture that you saw. With the one with the six fish or whatever.
fuck these 6 fish in particular.
Yes, that's it. You know, another picture, it doesn't really work. So no, that's not it.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna say.
I'd probably have to say.
Okay, I know. I'm gonna say a famous quote, and this is because I think we should end with a word of wisdom, right? Because that's cool. So this is my word of wisdom. Nothing is foolproof to a sufficiently talented fool. It's my quote and my catchphrase.
Yeah, I would have to say that my word of wisdom for this very first podcast is democracy is non-negotiable.
Yeah, alright, works. Alright, so goodbye everybody. Have a life or whatever.
Yeah, fuck you.